The development of any country hinges significantly on its human capital. In Guyana's case, the government is seeking to have all involved, whether near or far, and has launched an initiative which seeks to bring Guyanese together to pool the resources, their knowledge, their wealth, and see how they can help to advance the national development. Joining me today to discuss the Guyana Diaspora initiative are the Honorable Foreign Affairs Minister Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, Mr. Rui Oliveira Reyes. He is the Regional Coordinating Officer of the Caribbean and Chief of Mission of the International Organization on Migration, and Ms. Joanne Yin. She is the head of the Diaspora Initiative. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
The talk about the Guyana Diaspora Initiative would have been around for a couple of months now. But maybe, Minister, you can give us a broad overview of what exactly this initiative is.
Well, actually, Edward, let me first thank you for having us here. But the talk about the Guyanese diaspora has been around a long, long time. What this initiative seeks to do is to ascertain what we have out there in our Guyanese diaspora. And so, for instance, we have heard many times, and in my travels I've heard this many times from Guyanese living abroad, that they would like to be involved in Guyana's development. Some of them would like to return home, but a lot of them would like to contribute from where they live. And so what we are doing with this initiative is actually carrying out a survey online, where skilled Guyanese can go online and register. We launched in September, on the 26th of September, and so far it's been very encouraging. And basically what we'll do at the end of the project is we'll analyze the data that we collected from this initiative, and we will determine policies, government policies geared towards the diaspora. And we are very happy to partner, to be having a partner in this project in the organization, with the Organization for Migration, the International Organization for Migration, and Mr. Rees is the head of the office down here. And so we're very pleased that an organization that has experience with migration issues is here to work with us on this particular initiative.
Mr. Rees, why the IOM? Why you're involved in this project? What do you see, or the importance do you see in this?
Well, I don't know how far people are familiar with the International Organization for Migration, but we are the leading agency dealing with migration issues, and we are supporting many governments to manage those migration issues. And here in Guyana, why we are here in Guyana is supporting the government on this important project and this important initiative as engaging with the diaspora. I think a lot of governments are always looking for ideas, innovative ideas, and where they can engage where the diaspora in a structured way. And IOM has a lot of experience on that, because we have been doing these projects in other countries and supporting other governments on that sense. As Honorable Minister mentioned, the project was launched on the 26th of September in New York. And so far we have been observing quite very positive response from the diaspora, where people already have been registering into through the website. And we continue to encourage people to register. It's an important move, it's an important step to help the government of Guyana to structure that approach with the diaspora, and look later on, as the Honorable Minister mentioned, look at policies that could be help that engagement.
Ms. Chu, you were the head of the unit. You would be more involved on a day-to-day basis. The launching was on the 26th of September in New York. Of course, the response, Minister, would have been overwhelming. But what's the future in terms of engaging other areas where Guyanese are in the diaspora?
Well, right after our September 26th launching in New York, we also had a similar activity in London on the 27th of October. And following up on that, we also have similar activities planned for Barbados, Antigua, and Toronto. Our Barbados activity, our Barbados launching will be on the 25th of November. Our Antigua launching will be on the 27th of November, and our launch in Toronto will be on the 3rd of December. So these are all follow-up activities to the September 26th launching. But the objective of the launching is to target areas where we have a large population of Guyanese, so that we want to inform them that we have this initiative. We want to encourage them to go online, to take the survey and to register. And we also want to encourage them to spread the word around to their families and friends, and to encourage everyone to visit the website and to take the survey also.
Mr. Reese, while we were talking before the program, you would have mentioned, I know you're launching in areas where there's a large Guyanese population, but you've mentioned the IOM with having some other initiatives to try to look at areas where Guyanese, a small population of Guyanese are. Maybe you can expound on that a little.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't go to every places where Guyanese citizens they are living. But nevertheless, I think we will continue the work after those launch events through the diaspora groups and associations on those countries, where we are going to provide some support with materials, and for them to also have some small events where they can invite their members, and not only, but many their members, and to promote the project, but also to talk about the importance to go to online and to take the survey.
Minister, this is a diaspora initiative targeting Guyanese living overseas. What role do you see Guyanese back home here in Guyana can play in terms of aiding this initiative?
Well, I think almost every Guyanese family would have relatives abroad. And I think they can help first by supporting the project generally, but also by asking their relatives abroad to go online and register, be part of this survey. You see, Edward, many times we hear, by the way, that people are interested in helping in the development of Guyana. But what we want to do is to know what they're interested in, what specific aspects of development they're interested in, but also what are their expectations. Remember, many of these people would have left Guyana a long time ago. Some maybe not so long ago, but they might have certain expectations. We want to ensure that we know what those expectations are, but we also want to know what skills, and this is basically it, skills. What are the skills they have abroad? Traditionally, we have looked at when people leave Guyana as our country losing, and that is still a view. But I think the modern thinking now is that development could include persons from abroad, even from where they are. With technology, for instance, an IT specialist does not have to travel to Guyana to do a project. He can do it from where he's living. On the other hand, you might have someone that would like to come to Guyana for 3 months in the year, because that is the time, maybe summertime, when they have leave, or when they find it most convenient to visit. And so we have to structure programs to cater for those kinds of persons, because we have to understand that their circumstances would be different, maybe to some of us, our circumstances here. We want to ensure that we don't plan programs that would not be appropriate as well. And this is why the analysis is important. And we have seen that Guyanese all over BVI, the UK, Toronto, Canada, the US, and many other countries have already started registering and being part of this survey. I also want to say that this information is very confidential. We are not going to share your information with anyone else. It is just for this project. I also want to say that it's not a census. We are not trying to ascertain how many Guyanese are living abroad. What we are trying to ascertain is the skills that are abroad, what the persons that have those skills are interested in, and what, like I said, and what are their expectations. So basically, that's the first aspect of the project. We intend to, maybe within 2 years, have a large diaspora conference. Or maybe we may have a few in different cities. But so far the thinking is, and we're in early thinking about this, is to have a conference here, because by then we would also have all this information and the analysis of that information. So I would like to urge the Guyanese at home to support this initiative. Some persons in the diaspora have said to me that we would like to come to Guyana and help in the development of Guyana right at home. But sometimes our compatriots would say to us, well, you left a long time ago, you cannot come and instruct me what to do, you should have stayed, and things like that. So we would like to see coming together, and as our tagline says, let's build Guyana together, because regardless of whether you're in Guyana or you're out, once you're a Guyanese, you will always be a Guyanese. And so we have to tap in to the resources abroad as well.
You spoke about maybe in 2 years, after you would have finished gathering the data, to have maybe a large diaspora conference. Is it you're saying that after the 2 years, that's it for the project, or is it a project that will continue?
Well, project by its very name, it's something that has an end, and that is why I prefer to use the term initiative. However, the involvement of the IOM is for a year. So far, it's for a year on this particular aspect of the project, and that is having the survey done. So the IOM would be involved with us for a year. I'm hoping longer, Mr. Rees, depending on what the analysis would show. But the project would continue. And for instance, we have a remigrant program, which is managed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We want to ensure that the program that we have meets the needs of the persons living abroad. And so from the analysis, we might see that we have to adjust that program a bit. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. We might we might see from the analysis that persons may be interested in knowing about how do they access house lots, for instance. And you would know Minister Irfan started a scheme where remigrants can apply, persons returning to Ghana. So we want to ensure that the policies we put in place are actually guided by evidence, and the evidence would come from the survey. I also want to add that when we speak about skilled Guyanese abroad, we're not just speaking about Guyanese with degrees. We're speaking about Guyanese with other skills as well. And so, for instance, we have a booming housing industry in Guyana. And one of the things persons have said to me they have issues with is finishes. So you build a house, but you want the cupboards done, you want maybe the plumbing done, and so on. And you really don't have people to do that, because it's such a boom that most of these persons are employed. But you may have persons abroad involved in this that may want to come to Guyana, or may want to set up a business in Guyana to do that. We also know that there are many groups that are supporting the schools they attended, the alumni. So what those persons have said to us, those groups, that sometimes when they try to implement projects in Guyana, they have hiccups, sometimes with customs and other places. And many times it's because there's no system in place to have a smooth flow, or I shouldn't say there's no system, but a proper system. And so we want to hear from them, what are some of the difficulties you encounter as well? So we have heard some of this already, but they're going to go online now and they're going to put that down together. And so we'll be able to have everything together and we'll be able to analyze that. So I am very excited about the project or the initiative. And I think that it's time we start to do things in a structured way, as Mr. Rees said, when it comes to the diaspora.
Mr. Rees, the IOM involvement again, do you care to divulge maybe what role exactly, more in detail, the IOM is playing in this project?
Well, we have been, as we have an interesting name for the project is Guide, so I've been provide guidance a lot in many ways in terms of construct the website. We have been guiding into put in place the survey, what questions should be there in terms of important questions that could be useful to provide also guidance to the government later on. We have been also, as you see, the communication materials that year round. This is it was also a very collaborative efforts with the government of Guyana. Well, we have been established the website. We are monitoring that. We have been also open a Facebook page for the project too, where also people can go and look at a lot of information, put their questions, interact with us. We will of course answer all the questions and sharing ideas as well. We have also one important one, I think, I almost forget, but it's one in first year initiative that we are funding directly through our IOM Development Fund. And the Minister mentioned, yes, that's a first year project. Yes, project has always a kind of a time limit, but nevertheless, I think we all look at possibilities to extend our assistance or support to this initiative and to the government of Guyana. And also we would like also to invite all the other donors that will be interested to supporting us on this important effort and this important initiative.
Mr. You again, dealing with this thing on a day-to-day basis, what the response like, the feedback that you're getting? I would have examined the Facebook page and so forth, and I would have seen the kind of interaction and so on going on. But what are some of the comments and maybe the feedback you're getting?
Mm-hmm. Our feedback so far has been really good. From the official launching on September 26th to now, it hasn't been 2 months as yet, maybe a little bit over 6 weeks. We've had a lot of visits to the sites. We've also had lots of viewing of the survey, and actually we do have quite a number of people taking the survey. What we would like to do is to also encourage more Guyanese to visit the website and to complete the survey. I think from visiting our Facebook page, I don't know if you visited, but right. We've had close to 1,000 likes on the Facebook page. And from the Facebook page, we have established links directly to the website. So it has been very encouraging. The numbers have been very encouraging. The word is still not fully out as yet. We're hoping that when we conclude our launching in the other countries, we would see a steeper increase in the number of participants visiting the website and taking the surveys.
Apart from the website, Minister, and the Facebook and so forth, I know it's an online program, so obviously persons anywhere could have access to, or to get onto the website and do the survey and so on. Is there any way along the line, maybe the Guyana's overseas missions are involved in this process?
Yes, they are very much involved. In fact, a lot of the missions would have databases of persons they're in contact with, Guyanese that they're in contact with, and so they would have sent the information to those persons. But what we have done as well is, as Mr. Rees mentioned, we have done some printed material as well, because there are some countries where Guyanese are located that they may not always have access to the internet. They probably might go to the internet once a week or twice a week, and so the material is geared for some of our missions in Suriname and Barbados and some of the other places where they might not be on the internet on a regular basis. So that's one way of getting out the information. We have met here with the diplomatic corps because they have shown a great interest as well in the project. But we would be meeting with other groups. The private sector will be meeting with the private sector shortly, because we feel that we don't have to wait for the end of the survey before we start doing something. So for instance, I have been approached to put certain advertisements. So a private sector company may want a particular skill. A geologist, for instance, maybe in one of the mining companies. We can probably put those ads there, and persons from overseas can look at it and make direct contact with the company. So we will be engaging the private sector very soon. I think the meeting is set for the end of next week to talk more about the initiative as well. It's fairly new, and so we know that it would take time to catch on fully, but we are very encouraged by what we see so far, and we hope others would come on board. We would also be using some of our local newspapers, because we know people read the newspapers online as well, and so we would also be using them to communicate with our brothers and sisters abroad so that they can go online and register.
I know, Mr. You spoke about some of the countries you're expected to do maybe soft launch in. Those basically are countries where there's a large Guyanese population, but there are other countries that may have smaller population. How do you plan to maybe get them involved by, getting the message to them in terms of, because some of these countries we might not have an overseas mission, but there might be a small number of Guyanese, maybe very skilled Guyanese. How do you plan to work around that?
Well, the mere fact that the guide project is an online project assures us that it reaches all corners of the world. So it doesn't matter how small or wherever you are. Once we do adequate advertising, we're using a variety of medias to advertise the project, actually. Besides online, we have the newspapers. We also have pamphlets, So we have all the different types of medias for advertising. And as I said before, the mere fact that it's online, it's accessible to everyone. So as long as you have a computer and you go and you Google it or whatever, and even on some of our government ministries' websites, also they have a direct link to the project website. So these are all ways in which we're advertising it. And the most important way, which we know usually works in most times, is by word of mouth. We all have relatives all over the world, every country in the world. If I tell someone, that someone will tell a friend, a family, and the word gets around. And also our missions also play a very important role in spreading the message. So I would not be too worried that, in countries where there are small Guyanese population, the word wouldn't get around. I'm sure Guyanese people are very good at getting the word around.
We are quickly running out of time, and your final call, though. You spoke about having the private sector, Guyanese back home and so on involved. Your final call to get this project maybe to pick up some more momentum, because based on your initial comments, there is some sort of momentum going with it.
Well, the most I can do is ask people to participate in the survey, but it's voluntary. If you don't want to participate, you're not forced to participate. So we believe I think in the first week after we launched, we had quite a number of people completing the survey, and it's a work in progress too. So if we notice, for instance, that there might be some difficulty with a question, we we adjust that kind of thing. So we've been making certain adjustments, and I think that what we have seen so far, like I said, it's encouraging. And the launch in Toronto is on the 3rd. We're expecting a large turnout there as well, and I'm sure the word is going to spread even more, and more people are going to come online and register. But I think we're focusing on speaking about completing the survey, but I think it's what happens after. That's what's important. What we are trying to do here as a country is to use our resources as a country that we have abroad. And some of these people have said they want to be part of Guyana's development. What we are trying to do here is to get them involved in a structured way, using information that they would have provided to us. And I think that is what is very important. We all want to see Guyana a better place, and I think we should not only look in the boundaries of our 83,000 square miles. I think we have a lot of resources outside of here as well. And like I said, I think they are willing to be part of Guyana's development. And so I would like to say to them that this is your time to go online at www.guydproject.iom.int. It's on, and you can just Google the Guyana Diaspora Project or the Guyana Diaspora Initiative, and you would be able to get to that website as well. And I'm very encouraged by what I see.
Your final thoughts?
Well, I think it's, I would say that the success of this project, it depends a lot of the Guyanese citizens. And the thing is, for us, it's to put out there the information this project is happening, and I think that's where we have been developing all this material, the website, and those communications, and etc. But I think is for those who are listening to us right now, it will be very important to pass the information to their relatives abroad and encourage them to go to the website and take part of this initiative. This is a first step. This is a chance. Take it. As Minister mentioned earlier, all this information is going to be very important and will be treated with a very high confidentiality. It's not going to be shared outside of this project. And I think is just to say maybe another thing. The world, the world has changed. We have not been working like we have been working 10 years ago. Today, with the modern world we have more like about mobility. People are living in different parts of the world for many reasons. Just to live, to look for a better life, to do different experience, can be temporary, can be much longer term. But the mobility today is important, and where the people are, they can have many ways of contributing to the development of their country. One is returning, but there's a way to contribute to the development of the country wherever they are, by sharing their experience. And the first important step is to know they exist. And where to exist? Take the survey and register.
Ms. Joan?
Well, I just want to close off by saying, if you're Guyanese, don't hesitate. Participate in our online survey. Tell us what you want to do for Guyana, and let us build Guyana together.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for being part of this program. And of course, Guyanese at home and abroad, you're urged to get registered yourself, or even encourage your relatives
yes,
to be part of this issue. Yes, you're correct, abroad, because it's more on the diaspora, but for them to encourage their relatives to get involved, and those abroad who are seeing this, to more or less go online, visit www.guydproject.iom.int and take the survey. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.